Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to Dunzy's Guitar World. I feel like I'm reading the news here. You know, the news is there's no good news, but we have some UFO. So this is the second part of my UFO album series, playing the riffs from the UFO albums with Paul Chapman from 1980 or 79. So this was the second album that Paul played on. The Wild, the Willing and the Innocent. And I'll have to say, this is my favourite Paul Chapman era album. I mean, I liked No Place to Run, but when this came out it was like just incredible. I mean, there's not a bad song on it. There's not even an average song on it. So good. So side one we have Chains, Chains, Long Gone, The Wild, the Willing and the Innocent, It's Killing Me, Makin Moves, Lonely Heart, Couldn't Get It Right, and Professional Violence. All, I mean, there's only 8 songs, but when they're all that good, you only need 8 songs. Professional Violence has probably got one of Paul's finest ever solos. The good news is I won't be playing it today. It's an incredible solo. So the cover, it's a Hypnosis cover, I would imagine. Yeah, Hypnosis. I mean, it's not Love Drive by the Scorpions by any means, but it does appear to have someone trying to escape up a ladder being attacked by someone with a blowtorch. I mean, it was 1981, but I still think that sort of thing was illegal. But let's pass on with the guitar teaching. Now, the last video I did for No Place to Run went on for about an hour, and it took me 24 hours, like a whole day, over the space of 3 days to actually do it. So I'll try and keep this one a bit shorter. I'll just go over the main riffs. I mean, I guess if you're just sitting jamming at home, you just want to play the main riffs. I won't go over the solo parts and stuff. The solo rhythm parts, I mean, I only did a couple of the solos. I'll try and keep it down because not everybody's got an hour to invest in learning UFO songs from the best part of 40 years ago. So I'll zoom in on the guitar and we'll proceed from there at pace, back in a bit. So I'm playing this on my 1980 Greco Mockingbird copy. Paul was probably using BC Ritchies at that point in time. So song 1, Chains, Chains. Now this just starts, the intro is basically what they play in the bridge, but they're playing power chords at the beginning, and it's just a D, C, and then 2 A chords. And then the next time starts on the D, to the C again. So finishes with the F and the G, and he's just playing simple power chords. So I'll play that whole thing. So that's the intro, and then the guitar kicks in on its own, and he's playing a D chord, again the D power chord here on the 5th fret, so it's 5 on the 5th string, 7 on the A and G strings. But what he's doing is, when he plays it to begin with, he's just playing with the one finger on the 5th fret and then hammering on to those 7th fret notes. There's a lot of string dampening going on as well. So like I say, it's 5th fret across the A, D and G strings, and then you hammer on to the 7th fret of the D and G strings, but keep this 5th fret note on the A string. Then it goes down to an A. Again, it's like you've done there. When you hit the first measure, it's like you're just hitting the open D and G strings and then hammering onto the A, but using the A string as a pedal tone. into the bridge, which starts on a D chord. It goes D, C to the A. It's quicker than the intro, but the same chords. And the last measure's on that G chord. So it's D, C, A 3 times, and then D, C, G, just the once, and that's all power chords again. I'm just playing them with the root and the fifth. And then into the chorus, which is a D chord. Now he's picking from the D string open, D over to the B string, and then the G string, and then he drops the second finger, or whatever finger he used, down to this C note, 3rd fret of the A string. So you're playing the C on the 3rd fret of the A string, but going back and catching the 3rd fret of the B string and the open G string. And then it's an F bar chord, but he only plays the bottom 3 notes. And then that quickly changes to a C, and here he's only playing the 3 bottom notes of the C chord, so it's the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, and the open G string. It's quite tricky going from that power chord, bar chord, to that C. So I'll play that whole chorus. So in the second measure, it's an A sharp power chord to the C. So it's 1st fret of the A string, 3rd fret of the D string, to the 3rd fret of the A string, and the 5th fret of the D string. And then the same again, first part. So the chorus ends with going from the F power chord to the G power chord. So I'll play that whole chorus slowly. And then back into the verse again. And that's the main riffs in that song. So that's the intro, the verse, bridge, and the chorus. So once you get that down, you can play the whole of Change by UFO from their 1981 album, The Wild, The Willing, and The Innocent. I hope they're all as quick as that. Let's bash on then. So track number 2, Long Gone. Now it starts with an acoustic intro, which I actually did on an acoustic guitar, surprisingly. Now watch Paul play this, and he plays it certainly different from what I do. I've struggled to play it the way he plays it, because it's quite difficult to get from up here down to here. So the way I play this is, getting to the point, is the 5th fret of the top E and the B strings, and you just hit those two notes, and then down to the 3rd fret, same strings, and then the 5th fret again, but this time it's the B and G strings. So that whole part is. The second part of the intro is quite tricky. he plays the 3rd fret of the A string, C note, slides up to the 5th fret of the A string, the D note, and then catches the open G string. In fact, I think he catches the open D as well. Yeah, he does. And then it's a pull off from the C, 3rd fret of the A string, and then the 3rd fret of the bottom E, the G note, slides up to an A. So it's quite tricky, that whole thing. So I'll play that whole thing together. Now the tricky part is getting back to playing these A notes again. Now watching Paul playing it, he's playing the A chord up here. So I mean, I find it impossible to get back from that A note 5th fret of the E string back to playing here with any degree of accuracy, and I've been trying to play this for 40 years. So what I do is, the last measure of the intro, when you're sliding from the G to the A, I play that with my 2nd finger, and then catch these top 2 notes on the 5th fret with my pinky. That's the only way I can get it to work. So I'll play that whole thing, I'll play it round twice. The band come in on the C power chord to the D power chord, and then the verse starts with an A. So there's a lot of palm muting going on here, and again it's like chains. Although you're playing an A chord, you're hammering onto it from the open D and G strings every few measures. The next bit's quite tricky. You're going from that A to playing a C chord, but just the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, and the open G. So it's up and then down just to that E note, and then it's the open D. Playing that really slowly. And then it goes into the bridge part, or maybe it's chorus, which is a B chord. Now there's a lot of palm muting going on this. So it's B down to A to G to an E power chord. So I'll play that to the speed that's on the album. So it drops like a beat before you would normally do. And then finishes with a G power chord to an F sharp power chord to the A. So I'll play that whole part, and it really is quite tricky, the timing on it, because of that dropping of like a beat on the guitar. And that's the main riffs from Long Gone. As I said, the intro's played on an acoustic guitar, which I'll put a link below to all the covers that I did, and you can see how I'm playing it on there. So on to the title track, song 3, The Wild, The Willing and The Innocent. This starts with a power chord slide from a C chord up to a D chord, and then a B to the C, and then a G to an A. So it goes like this. So the second measure is different. It ends quite sharp on that A chord, whereas the first one you're keeping playing back to the C again. That sounds difficult, but I'll play it slowly so you can hear it. So again, there's a lot of palm muting going on in this, and it's not just about the chords. It's about getting the rhythm right and the sort of between chord strums. And it goes into the verse. Just when it goes into the verse, the lead in is the third fret of the E string, the G note, pull off to an E chord. And the verse starts on that E chord itself. So the E, it's just his power chord here. Now, like the previous songs, when he's playing the E, he takes the finger off the 9th fret of the D and G strings back to this be a D chord. Play that again. And then when he's going to the A chord, he definitely hits this chord on its own, just the 7th fret of the D and G strings. To the A. Play that. To an A chord. And again, although you're playing the A, between the chords, you're hammering on from the open D and G strings to a B and back to the E. So I'll play a whole verse. And when I was going into the chorus, the last chord he hits before the chorus is this A sharp power chord, first fret of the A string, third fret of the D string, to a B. And the basic chords under the chorus are B and E. So I'll go from the last measure of the verse into the chorus. Now when he's playing the B, I think there's to maybe 3 or 4 different guitars going on. So one seems to be playing just the basic power chords, another one is picking out these notes. So that's quite tricky to get hold of that. So it's like a B bar chord, and then you catch the 5th fret of the B string, and you're picking the notes. So it's 5 on the B, pull off to the 4th fret, and keep your finger down and keep it on the 4th fret of the D, G and B strings, but going back to the pedal tone of the B. And then on the 3rd measure, you actually take all your fingers off apart from the 1st finger barred across, and you only hit the 2nd fret of the B string. And hammer back on. To the E. Play that slowly. I think I'm hitting the open G string as well there actually. I'm back on quickly. Now one of the guitars is staying up and playing that E power chord, and there's another guitar harmony that plays this. So that's the 9th fret of the G string, down to the 8th fret, down to the 6th fret, down to the 4th fret, and you're hitting the B and E strings open. So one guitar's playing. The other guitar's playing. And then there's another guitar on top of that which you can hear playing. So that's the 7th fret of the A string, down to the 6th fret, down to the 4th fret, down to the 2nd fret of the A string, and you're pedal toning off the bottom E string. Back to the B. So there's 3 different guitars going on there, maybe even 4. If you watch the lesson that I did, I tried to do a different one each time, so again I'll post a link to that down below. But you can get through it just by playing this version. And then back into the verse again. So that's the main riffs from The Wild, The Willing and The Innocent, the title track. Let's see what's next. So I didn't do the last track on side 1, and the covers that I didn't do is Killing Me, which is a great tune, but I just didn't do it. Next one I did was side 2, track 1, Makin Moves. This is quite tricky to play this one. It's basically off a G chord, G pedal tone anyway. So it starts with the 3rd fret, the bottom E string, the G note. Well, it's like a chord, I guess you're playing. So you play to the G chord, and then lift your fingers off and play the 3rd fret of the D and G string, just that A sharp. Back to the G chord. So it's like. It takes a while to get used to keeping the pressure on that bar. I mean, it's fine when you're grabbing all the notes of a G chord, but when you have to move them and you're just pressing the one finger down and just catching all of these 2 middle strings, it takes a bit of practice. Now the next bit's even trickier. What he's doing is, after he plays the G chord, he catches the open G string and then hammers on from the 3rd fret of the D string to the 5th fret of the D string and hits the G again, and then goes back to the G chord. So that takes a lot of practice. And then after you play that, it goes to C, and it does a similar thing, playing the C power chord here, and he's pulling again off to the 3rd fret of the D and G strings, back to the G again. And to make things even trickier, when he's on the C chord, he plays the 3rd fret of the G string to the 3rd fret of the D string, hammer on to the 5th fret of the D string, and then the 3rd fret of the G again. So slowly it'll go like this. And with the chord. And then it's the back to the G. So I mean, that really does take a lot of time to get up to speed. So I'll play the whole thing together slowly and then you'll hear how it goes together. So yeah, maybe I'd take that at slow speed to begin with, so you can build up to Paul Chapman speed. So the chorus is bar chords, D, C, A sharp. So he's playing the chords, but he's actually picking the notes as well. And it finishes with a F to G. And then he plays the G part again. So that's Makin Moves, which is tricky to get up to speed, but without a doubt one of my favourite UFO riffs. Now the next song that I did a cover of was Lonely Heart. I'll just put a link to that down there because there's nothing difficult in that. It's just working through power chords. I mean, the difficult thing is the saxophone solo, and I'm not well versed in the saxophone, so I'm not going to do that. So let's look at the last song that I did, which was Couldn't Get It Right. Now this whole song is basically around a D pedal tone this time. So this part is played just with the D string as your pedal tone, and the first chord is the 7th fret of the G and the 8th fret of the B. The next chord you move the 8th fret of the B down to the 7th fret, keep the 7th fret of the G string. So in between each one you're doing a palm mute on the D. Next chord is the 6th fret of the G string, 5th fret of the B string. Next chord is the 4th fret of the G string and the 3rd fret of the B string. And then you go back to the 4th fret back to the 6th fret of the G string and the 5th fret of the B, and then back to the 7th fret of the B and G strings. And again, in between each one, you're going back to a palm muted D note or open D. So I'll play that whole thing. Now in the verse, when the singing kicks in, once you hit that last, you play a G chord and that rings out while Phil's singing. Then back to the riff. And then the chorus is a G to a C to a D, and there's a lot of palm muting when it goes to the G, to the D. Same again. And the last measure of the chorus goes to an A, then a C, then a D. So play the whole chorus. Back into the verse again. So there you have it, 5 songs off The Wild, the Willing and the Innocent, UFO's 1981 album. Now I didn't do a few of the songs on this. I didn't do Professional Violence. As I said earlier, that's one of Paul's greatest solos, and the last thing I want to do is be hacking my way through that on the internet. So I didn't do that, but I did what I thought was the easier songs off this album, songs that people perhaps don't know how to play. So hopefully I explained some of the major riffs to those songs, and I tried to do this one a bit quicker than the last one, so my apologies if it's quite hurried and my Scottish accent is a bit strong and a bit fast, but if you slow the video down I'm sure you'll get there. And I think YouTube does a fantastic version of translating my Scottish accent, so I would always keep the subtitles on because it's a whole added level of humour. So thanks for watching, folks. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'll get back to you with some more lessons soon. Cheers.